Welcome.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Paul Sugarman, and this is the Instant Shakespeare Company. And today we are doing a reading of People at Dinner. We've actually done a reading of People at Dinner previously on Zoom, but this is a different version. This is an earlier version that was done in 1993 at the Kairos Theater off of Washington Square. And so I'm very glad to have you all here to do this. And my name's Paul Sugarman, and I'll be playing the playwright. And just like the cast introduce ourselves, and then we'll begin. And Angus.
And I am playing a famous playwright.
All right. And Andrew.
Hi, I'm Andrew Parks, and I'm reading Henry and stage directions.
All right. And Marin.
You're muted, Maren.
I'm Marin Sugarman, and I'll be playing Clara.
All right. And Christine.
Hi, I am Marie-Christine Katz, and I will be playing Christine.
Okay. And Elena.
Hello, I'm Elena Rader, and I will be playing Lisa.
And John.
Howdy, I'm John L. Peacock, and I'll be playing Jack.
All right. And Ren.
Hi, I'm Rin, and I'll be playing Cy Alexander.
Great. And I think, yeah, that's everybody, right? Okay. And so we'll begin just also pointing out for John and Elena. John, you're also reading Wally Ruckeiser, and Elena, you're reading The Women in the Dress, which is at the beginning.
Right.
So without further ado, People at Dinner by Robert Sugarman, the 1993 version.
Time, Wednesday, July 30th, 1913. Place, an apartment in New York City's Greenwich Village that contains a tasteful, if eccentric, clutter of furniture, artwork, posters. In the center, a dining table elegantly set for 6. The chairs do not match. Beyond the playing area on one side, a stool. Act 1. Famous playwright stands in a pool of stage left alongside a high, backless stool. He is tall, slim, has a neat beard, a pince nez, a bow tie, and a high collar.
I cannot see. Those lights. Turn those damn lights off. Oh, this is a theater. I am in hell.
He waits, squinting. Nothing happens. He closes his eyes, removes his glasses, puts the handkerchief back in his pocket, replaces them, blinks, sees the audience.
You too? Are we in hell?
Sees an audience member nod no.
I never believed that, but where am I? I am in the presence of the middle class. And no matter what one says, I once did research in a colony of prisoners. It is always reassuring to return to the middle class. Middle class people are, in absolute terms, no better than the prisoners I studied or the peasants I treated. But their comforts are wonderful. And not that I was born to this, but this is the way to live. If only we could bring it to everyone. Perhaps you are more than middle class. I never saw any reason for that, but you wear interesting clothes. Madame? Mademoiselle, perhaps? Yes, you. Would you stand a moment? Please. Oh, lovely. And what is the back like, Tom? Oh, fascinating. You may sit down, thank you. Good evening. It is evening?
See someone in the audience nod.
Ah, thank you. It is. Even if I were in hell, I should not have shouted. I was intolerant of people who shout.
He
For
looked
you, theatres are pleasant, yes? That is why you come to watch King Lear and Mrs. Malaprop, and the people of Brighton Beach live out the drama and comedy of their lives. I too have been entertained as I sat in audiences. I loved theatre from the time I was 10. A touring group performed on an improvised stage in the municipal building of my town. People who lived there were afraid of these strangers who appeared from nowhere, mountebanks. I was fascinated by their bravery as they faced down our suspicions with false wigs and tawdry costumes to create in that drafty room something true. As an adult, when I worked with the mountebanks, I had trouble. Perhaps I came to it too late. Oh, again, I apologize. The cough I cannot help. The shouting was unnecessary. Where is this theatre? I speak English. Is it England? The United States? Canada? I would ask, but you seem uncomfortable answering. That is not why you came here, although I think the young lady enjoyed showing off her dress, yes? I was never a performer, but on occasion I found myself on stage. The last time I was being honored at great length. I was not well and had to stand during interminable speeches, and worse, through it all I had to smile. There is no back to this stool, but it will be better than standing. Oh, but not yet. I am stiff. I am sure you expect more than shouting and coughing. In music hall, by now an acrobat would have done at least 3 tricks. You would have applauded. You would be engaged. I shall try. No tricks, though, but I shall. Good evening. I know it makes you uncomfortable, but can someone answer, please?
He waits, hearing a good evening.
Ah, thank you. I know I cannot shake hands with you, although I would feel more uncomfortable if I could. Oh, thank you. I did not ask your name.
Wally Ruckheiser. I'm house manager.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Ruckhauser. German, is it?
Grandpa's folks came from Germany.
Mr. Ruckhauser.
I have to get back to the box office.
This is the United States?
Sure, it is.
One more thing. Was I expected?
I usually stay in the box office, but it was so quiet. I thought I'd better look in. I didn't know anything was about what goes on, and I don't think I'm supposed to be talking. But you seemed lonely. I have to go.
Anton Pavlovich Chekhov.
What does that mean?
It is my name.
Russian, is it?
Nice meeting you, Mr. Ruckheiser.
Door slams at the back of the theater.
So much for fame. Has anyone heard of me?
Martin, could you read that? All right, I will. Of course, but are you that one?
I am the one who is a doctor, story writer, and sometimes a playwright.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Aren't you, dead?
Of course.
Oh, you're an actor.
And you, madam?
I have nothing more to say.
No more lines? I always said the cough was not serious, so people would not fuss, don't you? Of course it was. What next? Well,
He sits on his stool, and as he does, lights come up in the playing area. Actors enter. Cy, late 40s, African American, passes canapes. Jack, early 20s. Christine, late 20s, French. Henry, late 70s, and Lisa, early 20s. They nibble silently.
Spare no expense, she said. It has to be wonderful. I got in trouble getting off work to do this, but I don't mind. I want it wonderful, but it's going to be a disaster.
I never had a dinner here that was a disaster.
You never had one this late. She does this and assumes I'll make everything work out. It's humiliating to serve a bad meal.
It's going to be wonderful. A little later.
There must be a reason she's late.
The preparation of food is not reasonable.
I'm happy with these.
We haven't had them before.
I've never made them before. They're all right.
You know that.
I never know until I'm told. You'd love dinner if we could start now.
this stool is uncomfortable. What do you suppose will happen when I sit? Yeah, in a moment.
I made more in case these didn't go over. Excuse me.
Cy hands the tray to Henry and exits to the kitchen.
Do you have any idea how long it is since I tasted a good hors d'oeuvre? Perhaps they're props, bread with vegetable coloring. Perhaps not.
He moves into the stage area, takes an hors d'oeuvre, tastes it, nods to an audience member, takes another and resumes his seat. As he sits, lights resume. Actors unfreeze.
Sai's going to teach me to do all this. We'll eat better.
We eat fine.
Not like here.
Cy re-enters with another tray of hors d'oeuvres.
No, I will not press my luck.
Shouldn't I study with him?
It's not a bad idea.
My friends think I should accept your offer to teach me.
You'd be good. So are these. But you can't make a meal out of them. We should forget the whole thing.
She'll be here.
When?
We could start without her.
I don't know.
You'd want us to.
This is my party, and I say we wait.
It's our party for you.
I thought of the party, and I vote for waiting.
There, Henry. I put the idea in your head when I told you what the committee was doing for the artists.
I thought I was so clever.
You were kind, I was clever.
By the time Clara was involved, it became one of her projects. Mine, too.
I'm shocked.
You're getting very American. You see what you want and go after it.
I have found the United States an interesting country, but the best I found here. Do not pursue it or I will cry.
I've gone sentimental.
You plot, you cry. You can't leave now. What else is there?
I have been working in an unfamiliar country, speaking an unfamiliar language, facing many responsibilities. Now my business is concluded, so I relax, but I will not cry.
Just in case.
No, thank you. Yes, thank you. Can you believe it?
Don't sail. Then we don't need a party, and it doesn't matter about the meal. Well, it does.
Cash in your ticket. That'll keep you going till you get a job.
We can still have a party. I like these.
Maybe we can think of something to celebrate.
We'll celebrate your staying.
This is your country. It is time for me to return to mine, but why should I leave everything? Henry, come with me.
Mademoiselle,
I shock you.
you flatter me. I have no ticket. Are you all right?
I had a busy day.
I have friends at the steamship line. We can work out something.
We'll make a party for both of you.
Party for one or party for two? It's a party with no hostess.
You're here.
We both have to be here.
I wish I could. I have obligations.
As interesting as Paris with Christine?
Certainly not. You may have been joking, but thank you for asking.
I was not. You know I cannot make jokes in English.
Let me check. Excuse me.
Isn't your work going well?
You're the only one who asks. I didn't work today, and that throws me.
I have never seen Cy like that.
He has been planning and shopping.
How's your work?
Oh, Mr. Lewis, I'm on to something so exciting. I'm afraid to talk about it.
That's wonderful. When are you going to call me Henry?
It's hard to do, sir.
It's not hard for me.
Or me.
I don't need to be reminded I'm old.
I'm sorry. What I'm doing, if it works out, and I'm pretty sure it will, you'll be the first to see it. Henry.
I shall be gone. What is he doing?
He does this. I do mine.
You have never invited me to see your collection.
Art I like by artists I like, mostly young people. Compared to the Armory show.
Henry, you keep rejecting me. Have you bought any of Lisa's paintings?
She won't sell.
It would be wrong to take money without cutting in Honor Daumier, and he's dead. Marcel Duchamp, he's in Europe, and Robert Henri. I'd be too embarrassed. So there you are. When the pictures are truly mine, you will be the first.
If she gets here soon, maybe.
This party was given for me. I lay down the rule. Everyone relax.
I'm relaxed. What about you?
Well, I was hungry. Now I'm,
Oh, don't be angry. Oh, it has been a nightmare. A party.
We are giving it.
Oh, I don't want to be anywhere but here with anybody but you. Christine, I'm sorry.
here you are.
All is well.
Maybe. Excuse me again.
Cy goes towards the kitchen. Clara stops him.
I'm sorry.
I'll see what I can do.
He's mad.
He's worried about the food.
Things aren't good in Patterson.
You were in Patterson?
Oh,
You knew you were doing this?
don't look at me like that. I'm exhausted. I need a bath.
Now?
Just let me wash my face.
She starts towards the kitchen.
I had to go.
Don't touch anything.
Only my face.
Did you see Selma?
Selma was blacklisted.
What is that?
They passed her name around to all the factories, all the stores, everything. Nobody will hire her.
You should leave. It's a big country.
Her mother can't, and her mother needs her.
We'll start a fund.
Oh, she won't have anything to do with us. She made me talk to her through the door. I did it. I did it. I got her involved
She chose to get involved.
after I'd convinced her. Oh, everything's awful. Oh, even the flowers. These are the best I could find.
They're just thirsty.
Gets a vase and puts them in water.
Mario is never easy. Today he was impossible. He framed this wrong. I got him to change it, but that made me later. Try to understand.
We'll talk later.
With Mario, you're lucky you're here at all.
But I said,
Don't you be mad at me. Just open it.
Christine takes the paper off the package and pulls out a framed poster by Robert Edmund Jones for the IWW pageant of the Patterson Strike, performed by the strikers themselves, Madison Square Garden, Saturday, June 7th, 8:30 p.m.
We made history, and you were part of it.
I said no presents.
You got involved with the pageant. You became our friend. I want you to have this.
It is beautiful.
I didn't listen either. He takes a small box out of his pocket and gives it to her. We are a materialistic nation. Christine opens the box, takes out a pendant made from a silver dollar. But the dollar is pretty.
It is too late to go back to barter.
She hands it to Henry so he can open it and place it around her neck.
Thank you.
You like the skyline so much. We collaborated with
On this little
watercolor of it.
for you.
It is good. Thank you all.
I'm breathing again. Sigh, if it's ruined, we can go out.
Wonderful night.
It is different, but it may be all right.
Good. I want us to be here.
If the food is all right, it is my gift. If not, I'll get something in the morning.
You understand why I went.
No.
They went back to work today. It was awful.
I know how you are about your kitchen, but can I start now?
I could use the help.
Lisa and Cy exit to the kitchen.
You look particularly distinguished, counselor.
A new suit in your honor.
You should not have.
I'd forgotten what fun it is buying a suit.
It was damn near ruined.
But it's not. Side's a magician, and I'm going to be one too.
There are moments I believe I am. Clara, couldn't you have gone tomorrow?
Can we enjoy ourselves, or is everybody going to hate me?
Food should be respected.
This isn't about me. It's for Christine. Your work's going well?
You're scary.
I see things.
I wonder if the script requires her to be a redhead. I hope it is not symbolic. I was never comfortable with that seagull.
He walks on stage, studies a little painting of a nude. The subject is a redhead.
Clara? A little while ago. Youth is nice, but so is aging. I was beginning to enjoy it.
Cy, Lisa, just a second.
What, you want us now?
Now. Cy and Lisa enter.
We can't stay.
Take a glass. To Mademoiselle Deschamps, who has become our special friend Christine, whom we shall miss.
You are not making living easier. You enjoy yourself, Henry. Your clothes, your art collection.
For years, I was too busy for the things I most enjoy.
We are almost ready.
Stop glowering or nobody's going to enjoy it.
I don't glower.
Jack,
Well, do I have to answer?
Checks himself in
I
the mirror.
do. I'm sorry.
life gets complicated.
Life gets complicated? No.
Playwright enters carrying a script. He is tall, balding, has a neat beard. He wears an open neck shirt, a sweater. His glasses hang around his neck. He approaches Chekhov.
Life gets complicated. What's wrong?
Oh, too soft.
I am so glad you're here.
Tell me exactly, where is that? And when?
Well, this is the Zoom Theater of the Instant Shakespeare on April 7th, 2024. Robert Sugarman.
You know who I am.
Yes.
And you are responsible for my being here.
I thought we could talk.
That woman was right. I stopped talking in 1904.
When you were 44. I am 64.
20 more years would have been good. Look, I no longer have to be polite, and I do not want to be. I am uncomfortable.
Stretch.
I did.
Really stretch.
It would look foolish.
I want you to be comfortable. Do what my students do. Lift your hands way up as you do inhale. Please, that's it. Down to your sides as you exhale. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more. Inhale up. Good. Exhale down. Feel better?
I feel like a trained poodle. Your beard, it is like mine.
I'm an academic. Lots of us have them. I think about you.
I am still uncomfortable.
I can get you a chair.
I am uncomfortable being here.
It was necessary.
Not for me.
Well, tell me, the play, it's all right so far?
I am interested. I like them. I never knew anyone black. I saw some in France. Mr. Sugarman, what do you want?
Advice. I thought we could talk later.
All I know is that in a play, people sit down at dinner, talk of this and that, and when they get up, their lives have changed.
I quote that when I teach you.
I never liked Russian icons, and I have become one.
Oh, well, there they are, people at dinner.
I did not mean that literally.
Well, I thought I'd try it. You know, what's hard? Finding ways to get them away from the table.
Sugarman, I will cough and disrupt everything. I get loud. Well, ask them. I seldom went to theater, and when I did, I sat near an exit. I hardly ever saw a complete play. I think that made them more interesting. I made up what was happening while I was outside coughing. I would imagine dialogue. I wrote good dialogue.
The best.
That's not why I said that. I like fishing, but not for compliments.
You haven't coughed since they started.
This will continue?
In the intermission, you're on your own.
Will you also make me comfortable on this stool?
There.
Oh, better. I could have done this with Shakespeare. No, he would want swordplay. Resume, please, before I cough.
Life is complicated?
You can do better.
I'd better stay out here.
Exits, returns with a stool and sets it stage right opposite Chekhov's. While standing, he writes in the script. He sits, Chekhov too. Lights change, actors unfreeze. Cy and Lisa return from the kitchen to where they were before.
I don't glower.
Do I have to answer?
Look at yourself.
I do. I'm sorry.
You
Science.
weren't there.
Better.
Something's wrong.
Oh, I'm fine.
Potage crème de la croissant.
Lisa brings in 2 plates of soup, exits for 2 more. Claire.
Crème of watercress.
Cy puts the dishes down. Lisa sets hers down too. Both sit. Everyone tastes and looks at Christine.
Formidable.
What? What is it?
Nothing.
Lisa?
Ask him.
You always think you see things nobody else does.
What I do?
Half the time you're wrong.
And the other half?
You could do that flipping a coin.
May I have a real drink?
I want you to taste the food. You can have more wine.
Yes, Messa Cy.
Rushing around this way, you might as well be working.
I could use the money.
Henry says you are a wonderful stenographer.
You don't work.
I'm too old.
You weren't 6 months ago.
I'm older now.
Is everyone tasting the soup?
I'm going to make soup like this.
Can't we talk?
Don't take the soup for granted.
Excuse me a second. I love the soup, but I forgot my pills. A year ago, I was retired, reading novels, going to concerts and museums. Ah, here they are. I was having a wonderful time. The newspapers started attacking lawyers for only serving the rich. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
Do they taste awful?
Awful. Anyway, Henderson, Wilson, and Wallace.
Henderson, Wilson, and Wallace.
You brought home great pencils.
An important firm.
Oh, most important.
The partners were embarrassed by the publicity, so they yanked me out of retirement, gave me a little office, and told me to practice pro bono. No charge. I was available to anyone who needed me. They protected corporations. I protected people.
You were the only lawyer there who talked to me.
You were the only one there I could talk to. Everything went fine until I protected a fellow who was run over by a trolley at an unmarked intersection.
You won?
He won big.
I had protected my client against one of the firm's clients.
They fired him.
No.
Henry Lewis, one of the most distinguished attorneys in the city. I was so angry, I quit.
You shouldn't have.
I'd been their top stenographer. I had felt as important as when the painters did those pictures of me. Some are in important collections. Either way, the job ends and you see you weren't so important. And you change. 25 years ago, 25 pounds ago, if I took my clothes off now, they would not be interested.
More fools they.
Are you going to eat?
Oh, you always say I rush. Robert, Henri, and me. That was the real picture. He in corduroys and a sweater and a scarf while I was buck naked in that freezing apartment he called his studio. I'm surprised I'm not blue. A painter is only interested in the painting. Right?
It's true.
We are ruthless.
Not only did I freeze, I was bored. I had the wrong temperament. I didn't have the temperament to be a stenographer either. I don't know what I have the temperament for. When I was modeling, I had the right body and they loved my hair. You can't move. Can't even breathe decently while you hear him shift around, light his pipe, and there's no way to relax. If you do, you'll move. Above all, you can't interrupt. Right?
I'm going to be more considerate, but you get so concentrated.
I never think about what went into making my pictures.
Well, that's for us to worry about.
Once I interrupted. Maybe I was cold. But I couldn't complain. Nobody'd use me. None of them had decent heat. That day I said I wanted to buy the picture. I was still in the pose, but I could tell he stopped as soon as I said it. I looked and he was staring at me. He had been staring at me for 3 hours, but it was the first time he realized there was this naked woman in his studio that was also his flat with a bed in the corner, and he got embarrassed. The great Robert Henry. He wasn't great then. I couldn't have afforded it if he was. I liked the picture. I'd been watching it during breaks. I do collect things. Maybe. He was still confused, so I put on my robe and we worked out a price. Then I took off my robe and got back in the pose, but he said it was done. I looked and he was signing it. Got dressed, got my pocketbook and told him I'd deduct what he owed me, but he insisted on paying me what he owed me. Then I paid him what I owed him. He said I was never to consider buying another painting while I was posing. When he and the rest of them moved to New York, I did too. But he never painted me again. The others did. I had been his favorite model. The soup is good. And I finished.
We have just begun.
I am going to miss you.
I have felt so wildly arriving a French friend.
Sai, Lisa, come here,
If you want a meal,
please. To the people who make fun of my accents, but have made me welcome.
it's not hard to be a French chef when where no one's sure what French cooking is. I will miss you.
Before you go to the kitchen, I must tell you all a secret.
Oh, I can't keep secrets, but I love them.
I want to grow up like you.
I don't know what to say. You know how rare that is.
I mean it.
Sai and Lisa exit to the kitchen.
I'm too American.
In my head, I adopted you as my second maman. I did it 2 weeks ago.
You're serious. You'll make me cry.
I always have an extra handkerchief. Want to see?
Just in case.
Can Christine do that?
I may have trouble finding precedents, but I will defend her right to do it.
You are so different than the other maman.
If you're my daughter, stay.
I am your adult daughter.
Go, child. Be happy.
Not before I have enjoyed every morsel of this dinner and every moment of your company. All of you. All of you.
Oh, this has been a year like no other. The strike, the armory show, the pageant, and I became a mother.
Sugarman, what happened at the armory?
A huge exhibition brought modern art to this country. Quite a scandal.
Thank you.
He sits, lights change, actors unfreeze. Cy and Lisa return with the main course.
Filet de poisson poche.
He and Lisa serve. Lisa goes off for the last two. Allow me. Poached fish fillets in white wine.
And you wanted liquor.
I'm vulgar. When you do something like this, I am not.
This is how it's supposed to be. Complaints at the restaurant usually have to do with waiters who blame me. Tonight, I take no chances. I am the waiter along with Lisa.
You may serve the food, Mr. Alexander. You are not the waiter.
Clara.
I meant it.
Thank you.
After work one day, I went to help out at the armory. Everybody was overwhelmed at the crates and crates of incredible art. Nobody knew what to put where when this French lady appeared with a plan.
You told us what to do.
Oh, and the show got hung.
I did not want to be in the armory. I wanted to be in the streets. In Paris, artists are fascinated by America. I was too. I wanted to see. When I get back, I will have to tell them exactly how it looks. Democracy, ragtime, the Flatiron Building, all the artists in Paris have pictures of the Flatiron Building. They say the new century is only in this country. I wanted to see, so I got a job with the show. But when I arrived, all I saw was art I had seen in France.
The new century doesn't show in our art. There are images, buildings, streets, but the way we put the pictures together, nothing new there.
It's beginning. The show got artists to trust themselves, but go further.
That's what you're doing.
I'm trying.
Oh, everything is changing. There's been such excitement this year.
You don't change.
I wasn't always old.
I wish I'd known you then.
Then you'd be old.
You make it seem all right. Your show.
I only work there, but this is my party, so no art talk, if you don't mind.
Can you think of anything else?
Been great weather.
Please note that the food has nothing to do with new technology or strikes or new kinds of art or speed.
You are a reactionary.
Culinary reactionary. Damn right. Tell me you're sorry.
After coming here in search of the future, I must tell you, don't stop eating.
Not a chance.
Don't you?
I have concluded that with all that it has, the United States is just another place in the present.
Oh, more than that, I think. I hope. Oh dear. This is wonderful. Guys, I'm sorry to break. I have to just take a moment, okay? I need just 2 minutes, okay? Thanks.
Yeah, well, we will have a little intermission, but we're not really going to take it here, and we'll maybe make it shorter. But I do just want to thank you all so much for being here and doing this, and especially Ren for coming in at the last minute. It's been great. And I want to show, I do have like the poster on my t-shirt from this, the original production from 1993. That was done off Broadway that Angus was in the readings for as the famous playwright, and then he actually wasn't in the production because he'd gotten a paying gig. But this was this is really fun to do, and it's also, I really wanted to do this version of the play because his newer version, it's basically the Chekhov and Sugarman aren't in it, and so it's more I mean focused on the story of what's going on. But I did want to do it for an opportunity to
Paul, did he ever tell you why he switched that? Because I remember the other version, and it's very vastly different without the two playwrights.
It is. Well, he really thought, I mean, my understanding, well, are you ready to resume?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I thought I could make it until Sugarman and Chekhov took over, but
yeah,
I'm
no,
sorry.
well, we do have.
No, I'm at the top of what, page 40? Okay, this is wonderful. Maybe my being late my being late helped. Yes, you should prepare it more slowly.
Then I thank you.
No more anger?
It never lasts.
Next week in Paris, when my friends ask about America, they will not like my answers. It will be as if I had come back from heaven and told my priest, "There is a nice music. I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey. But it's terribly complex, mon père."
There's good food.
But it's French.
How does it compare to food in Paris?
At which restaurant?
The best.
It gets no better than this.
I may cry.
They'll be interested in all this
Fascinated.
because they think we're special.
Mm.
I guess we think so too. Suppose we aren't.
Sugarman,
You can call me Robert, Bob.
Robert, in Paris I saw Buffalo Bill, handsome man, beard like ours, but too manicured. He looked grand on his great white horse, but I wondered about all those buffalo. After all, he had a gun.
The buffalo are almost gone.
Oh, it is natural that individuals die, but species should not. No, it was happening in Russia. I kept planting trees, but Annie Oakley was with Buffalo Bill. Wonderful marksman. Clear eye on the target. No sentiment. I remember that she could have played Nina. I hear there have been some terrible Ninas.
If the future isn't here,
Of course it is.
Out there.
Damn right.
but if in fact it isn't,
Where is it?
That is what I have learned. What has happened is the past. What does happen is the present. What will happen is the future. And there are no shortcuts. This might be rude coming from a guest, so I apologize. Not only is the United States not the future, my conclusion is that in many ways, it is a silly country.
You haven't wasted your time.
I never do.
I was in France as long as you've been here, and I didn't draw any conclusions. I was dazzled.
Henry, you are a romantic.
then I should have led a different life.
You say this country is silly?
I have walked with you on the street and seen how people look at us.
You never said anything.
I was embarrassed.
I was going to say you get used to it, but you don't.
The next time someone crosses the street to avoid me or calls me nigger, that's what I'll think. Silly. Beats getting angry.
That's good. Silly.
My silly country.
It isn't funny.
It isn't funny at all.
I have never seen you angry about anything but food.
You will never see me angry about anything, any place, but here. Out there, angry black folks don't last.
Oh, beautiful for silly skies.
This country isn't perfect. It's new, not silly.
I wonder.
With all the machinery and all the wealth, the way the poor live is silly.
Worse than that.
During the strike, there was hope in Patterson. God, it was awful there today and so familiar. I used to clean rich people's houses with Mama. The hours were awful. The work was hard, the pay was bad, but the worst was the way they made us feel it was our fault. We were poor. That's how people were in Patterson today. Humiliated. I used to dream about running away, but I couldn't leave my mama any more than Selma can leave hers.
Didn't your father work?
Me da. Like all the poor micks who couldn't buy their way out. He was drafted into the army the year I was born. In a month, he'd lost his leg. He couldn't work.
You never told me.
But things are changing, aren't they?
I thought so during the strike.
We're young.
I'm not.
Our country is so we all are.
I like that.
Things are changing.
Last year, I read about the strike in Lawrence, Massachusetts for bread and roses. I saw the United States new things are happening for working people.
Maybe we'll win the next one.
Things don't go in straight lines, but they work out.
That is so American.
Things don't have to work out.
But they can.
Do you think so?
One way or another.
It's not American to say so, but we all will die.
Henry?
Not at the dinner table. You're right.
Dinner is time away from everything else. We need that as much as the food.
I do not mind finding the future because I found all of you.
Then stay.
My life is in France. I will tell them what I saw out of that window, but I also want to bring them what I found in this room.
To think you have the possibility for change. Now, that is important.
Even if you don't change?
That is when it is most important.
This country is different. We don't have classes. We can do what we want.
What about the families on Fifth Avenue?
I don't know about the families, but their mansions are ugly.
Some rich people helped with some rich people helped with the pageant.
Mabel Dodge?
She's still working with us.
Mabel Dodge left for Italy.
She couldn't have. We,
She sailed the night before last.
I warned you.
well, we were meeting on Friday.
She left with Mr. John Reed Monday.
She promised she'd help. He did too. We need help more than ever. Are you sure?
We sent some pieces with them.
We'll do without her.
If you don't have Mabel, you don't have her friends.
Whether Miss Dodge is here or there, whether the strike is won or lost, things are changing. You can feel it.
Because you do new things in your paintings, you think all things are possible.
What's wrong with that?
Good wine, good friends, wonderful food.
Thank you. Lisa,
I am leaving, so I will tell you what is wrong with that. You are talented, no question, but you think you are going to be the Thomas Edison of the paintbrush.
There can be inventions in art.
Well, when do we see the new painting?
As soon as it's done.
Mr. Edison took much time with one light bulb before he got it to work. Then he mass produced thousands. They made him a success. You cannot mass produce paintings. Besides, people want light bulbs.
It's terrible light to paint by. You stay up late thinking you're doing something terrific until you see it in the daylight.
Mm.
Don't paint by it, but it's making streets safe. It's making people's lives brighter.
the people that have it.
I'm glad he invented it.
Sound like you want to go back to gas and kerosene. Smelly, unsafe.
I listened to people at the armory. Those were the one interested enough to come. Your work is good. Keep at it. But do not fool yourself that people in this country want art.
Well, they will.
Not unless they can eat it.
I want art.
You are a lawyer who defends the poor. The rich want old art so they can pretend they are aristocrats.
Well, that's not all they want.
A few want your American impressionists who make life on Long Island seems elegant. In France, impressionists painted the petit bourgeois. Here, they glorify the rich.
People don't understand yet, but they will.
Everyone goes to schools here.
I visited your schools that teach children to speak English, work hard at a job that pays well, be American success. That is fine, but where does art fit in? All I am saying is that you are an artist, not a manufacturer.
If no one's going to pay attention, why am I doing it?
Henry pays attention.
Indeed, I do.
Others will.
You've been wonderful.
I like your work.
And so you should.
It is appealing. Should we bring in the dessert?
Mustn't rush it.
Healing? What does that mean?
It is nothing bad.
Attractive, charming, and safe. Isn't that what you said?
We had a long discussion. I said,
I like my work.
I do.
Your color's changing. You noticed.
Why are you doing this?
What's wrong with my color?
Nothing is wrong with it. Lisa,
Lovely, warm, charming. It reminds me of the comedians in vaudeville.
The colored lights.
The comedians. They don't want your laughs, they want your sympathy. That guy we saw last week dropped his cane so we'd think how wonderful he was to keep dancing.
I liked him.
That's my point.
Kane was an accident.
what is wrong?
What are we talking about?
We are talking about charm. Jenny works at the theater. She told me he drops his cane at the same spot in every show.
I've never seen you like this.
You know Robert Henri, Luke's, the others. You know their work. Look at that. And you know Jack's work. Tell me I'm wrong.
What's bad about being appealing?
In food, in dress, in furnishings, absolutely.
Hate my work.
How could I? It's so appealing.
What is going on?
No raised voices. We haven't had dessert.
I'm ready. What is it?
I'm waiting for the right moment. It might never come.
You know how things are here. Wait.
It's a big country, a big world. There's room for all kinds of people and all kinds of work.
Jack, you have a lifetime ahead of you.
You agree with her.
All artists take time to find their way.
Are you all right?
I need some water. Things are changing this year. Your painting is, mine too. There was the armory show, there was the strike. We moved in together. I walked around today trying to understand it all. Henry, I would like you at any age, but I think I like you more because you change less than the rest of us.
Are you sure you're all right?
I'm fine.
Change never stops.
Everyone here talks of success. People born here, immigrants, everyone, and success means one thing, rich. That is not for artists. That is all I am saying.
Why not?
Because artists make one picture at a time. They cannot use motors. I know every American child is told he can end up rich or in the White House.
If he's a boy,
And white.
And Protestant.
And friendly to business?
wait until we get the vote.
I don't want to be president, but maybe I will be a success.
Rich?
Why not?
America is interested in products. You are interested in art.
I don't understand. It's like when everybody laughs and I didn't know there was a joke. True?
True.
I should go with you. At least in France, painters don't expect success.
And some are finding it. Picasso and Matisse, they are on the way. Are you all right, Maman?
I never realized how depressing success is.
If people don't want art, why are we doing it?
I do it because I want to.
That makes you some kind of dilettante.
I hope others will like it, but I'm not waiting.
My script jumped. Page?
Bottom of 55.
It really jumped. Come on. Oh, 50. Robert!
Well, what should I call you?
Anton Pavlovich is fine. Robert, that food, I am hungry.
That's acting, not food.
The hors d'oeuvres were real.
Well, the meal isn't.
I am sorry.
Before dessert, may we have topics more appropriate to good digestion?
I keep thinking about Selma.
When we sang at the pageant, I was next to her. Such a strong voice.
That night, she said, next to having her daughter, it was the best thing she had ever done. I didn't know whether I was more proud of her or of me for getting her involved. She wouldn't let me in.
The pageant was wonderful.
It was supposed to raise money.
It did.
Barely enough to cover expenses. Not of the strike, of the pageant, and it got Selma and the others away from the real strike to pretend strike in Madison Square Garden. They'd have done better staying on the lines in Patterson.
That is not why they lost.
Solidarité forever. Solidarité forever. Solidarité forever. For the union makes us strong.
When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. What force on earth is weaker than the feeble strength of one? But the union makes us strong.
Robert, may I? Solidarity
Forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
All right.
Remarkable.
You think so?
Yeah, as soon as the stage went dark, my cough was back.
Well, the play.
We will talk about it.
Well, say something.
What? You mean now?
Please.
You suspect there are problems. That is why I am here. So far, I see none. And if I do, I can't help you. I am from another time. I am old.
I'm older.
Oh, that is too bizarre to think about. I have not thought about plays in a long time.
What can you say?
Your characters are comfortable.
What does that mean?
What I said.
Stanislavski was right. Who can understand you?
You understand Jack.
It's too appealing.
I like them. Huh? I like the situation. But all that food made me think, perhaps an additional flavor? More tart?
Well, it's only the first act.
Oh, of course. Yeah. We will be back.
Blackout on stools. We'll take a brief pause here for an intermission for Act 2. Thank you all so much. This is this is great. I think John had asked why he'd sort of cut that out. I think he really wanted to make the central part of the story of Clara and Cy and Lisa and Jack more was the main focus, I think, and that's why he changed it that way. But I do think it's interesting to have that, and I do sort of like it as a way. Actually, in his the honing the craft. I've got a little break here, so let me make this a commercial. So, honing the craft in hard times. This book, which speeches and scenes from my father's plays for actors to work on. And there's a lot of good things, and he still has like the Chekhov sort of opening monologue, even though that's not in the play anymore. But I do think it is, and I think it's sort of fun to hear it as a way to sort of a commentary, to have that commentary, to have that sort of meta theatrical experience, and so that
How can we get that book?
You can just order from me. Send me an email at instantshakespeare@gmail.com, and or you can message me on Facebook, where I will try and get my face on Facebook to look more like my actual face. But yeah, I've got that. And also for anybody who ever wants to work on any of the pieces for these, if they're plays that aren't available, I can get you the complete plays, because I know it is very important for actors when you're working on something that you read the whole play to have the context. And so we'll do that. And I intend to do more. I intend to do more this year in terms of getting more things out. We're doing later today at 4 o'clock on Zoom, and the same sort of Zoom address. I'm doing a memorial for my father, where people who can come, and if they want to share any remembrances, and we'll talk about him some. And we're having an in-person memorial in the Bennington Theater upcoming on Sunday, May 19th. And so I'm just trying to do that. And I do want to preserve his legacy and do Zoom readings of all of his plays. And there are some things out there. There's some things that other readings, other companies have done, and to do that. And so there's that. And of course, with Instant Shakespeare, it's great. We're back in doing live performances in the libraries in New York this year. We just did Julius Caesar and the Taming of the Shrew at the Yorkville Library and the 53rd Street Library. And we're going to be going back to the Bloomingdale Library on April 27th, I believe. And that's where we're going to have a Shakespeare celebration, and then do a reading of Comedy of Errors. And since the motto with the Instant Shakespeare Company is Shakespeare for everyone, for some events, we do things for in-person things in New York. I mean, well, anywhere, getting together. There is sort of a new reality in terms of the fact that we have COVID, we have other sorts of things that are still out there. And a lot of people want to say, well, let's put it behind us. It never happened. It did happen. And there are a lot of people who don't feel safe if we don't do things where people are wearing masks. So we're going to do this. Most of our things, we follow the New York Public Library policies, which are that masks are recommended but not required. And so most people choose not to wear masks because, it's a pain to wear a mask. But with these events, with occasionally, and that's what we do for most of our readings, because that's what most people prefer. But for some events, we do want to encourage people who might otherwise come out for a live event to do so because we're wearing masks. And so that's what we're going to do on April 27th when we celebrate Shakespeare's birthday. And we have Zoom things coming up. We're going to read Edmund Ironside, an anonymous play that is possibly by Shakespeare. And then also on April 23rd, we will be doing our sort of at 7:30 a Zoom Shakespeare free-for-all celebrating Shakespeare's presumed birthday and death day. And, this is April, and we celebrate Shakespeare because this year is actually it's sort of weird. It's like he's not actually 460 years old, but if he were still alive, this would be his 460th birthday. So... But anyway, so okay, I've gone on for long enough. I think we can resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do think, Paul, that listening to this again, and given the current political state in the United States, it's almost time that this text was actually revived and remind people just what it's fought for. And
I know.
Corporate America took control of everything.
Yeah, it is. It is sort of, I mean, because really it's sort of the idea of these progressive ideas have been around. This was 110 years ago. And it's like, wow, we may have gone like 3 steps forward and 4 steps back, you know. Yeah. So it's still, I guess, I mean, that is something to show that it's like even, I mean, and this play was written 30 years ago, that it does, unfortunately, our politics do still are the same. So.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, the idea of agitprop really started in the States, didn't it? With the Russian emigres that came over and formed the theater companies in New York.
Yeah, well, let's wait, and like after we can talk a little bit more about this, but let's get on with Act Two.
Act Two.
Act 2. Time has passed, but dessert has not yet been served. Actors in freeze, stage lights down. Christine is at the wind-up phonograph. The stools are empty. Sugarman enters from the side of the house.
Anton Pavlovich,
He rushes through the house, repeating the call. He stops and turns to an audience member.
have you seen him? Well, we better start.
He sits on his stool. Full lights on the stage. Actors unfreeze. Everyone is listening to Bert Williams singing Nobody on the phonograph.
When I was in that railroad wreck and thought I'd cashed in my last check, who took the engine off my neck? Nobody.
Nobody.
One time when things was looking bright, I started to whittle on a stick one night. Who cried out, "Stop now, that's dynamite"?
Not a soul.
Not a
Not a
soul.
soul.
A door slams in the back of the house, and Chekhov rushes down the aisle. As he does, lights change, and the actors freeze.
Thank you, Mr. Lukaiser. Yeah, oh, I apologize. I am sorry.
Where were you?
The streets are fascinating.
How did you get there?
Walked. Oh. I know how Christine felt when she arrived. New York is much different than Paris. A prostitute approached me. Oh, that is like Paris. But no, it was not. When I told her I did not know if it was possible, she said, anything is possible. Very American. I did not find out. I knew you would be waiting. I should not have rushed. What did I miss?
Time's passed. They haven't had dessert yet, and well,
When I was in that railroad wreck and thought I'd cashed in my last check, who took the engine off my neck? Nobody. One time when things were looking bright, I started to whittle on a stick one night. Who cried out, "Stop now, that's dynamite"? Not a soul.
Who is singing?
the person on the record would be Bert Williams. He and his partner were on Broadway in their own shows. About the time you did The Cherry Orchard.
Yeah, I wrote it. Stanislavski did it.
After his partner died, Williams became the only black star in the Ziegfeld Follies, big Broadway shows.
I ain't never done nothing to nobody. I ain't never done nothing to nobody, no time. So until I get something from somebody sometime, I'll never do nothing for nobody, no time.
I love that.
He is so gentle.
The meal
More wine?
improved your disposition.
I always worry, and having to stop in the middle.
I am sorry.
It worked out. Jack,
I'm fine.
You're not.
You are a witch.
Only 15%, only 50% of the time. Did you two have a fight?
Jack never fights.
Why? We talk.
Do we?
What aren't you fighting about,
Nothing.
Lisa?
There is something. I thought we might add it to the evening's celebration.
I spend too much time here. Who ever heard of anybody spending so much time with his aunt?
You don't have to.
What's going on?
When I came to New York, I didn't know anyone else. Now I do. It's time I moved.
There's nothing wrong with that. We'll still see you. Did you tell Mrs. Gambale?
I'm moving now.
What about dessert?
you always have dessert.
Where are you going?
I'm not sure. I'll let you know. I'll let everybody know.
Wait a damn second. I want to know you're not leaving because of my fish.
The fish was excellent.
What will I tell your mother?
Or anything.
Of course I will.
This is my party, and I want to know what is happening.
Going. That's all.
I had hoped we would talk.
We will.
Are you not leaving?
Not that I know of.
Would you explain that?
Right, Ma.
You never write anybody.
I'm a painter, not a writer.
Are you going to send her a painting?
Maybe.
We should have talked.
I want to be by myself a while.
Jack, you are... I can't believe this.
Let me get this straight. Not for your mother, for me.
Jack,
Drama at the dinner table, it's not good for digestion.
So may we postpone this?
No.
I'll be back for my paintings and my things. Will you be here?
Has good light. I have the kitchen the way I want. I've been paying the rent.
Talk to me.
Hey, crazy Aunt Clara.
Clara is not crazy. She cares. She cares about you.
That's what Dad calls you. Crazy Clara!
I'm the one you came to when you left your sensible home in Schenectady. You don't want to go back there. You don't want to stay here. Where are you going?
May I? Damn it, I'm still doing it. Why am I asking you?
No!
I try to be unique. The way I dress, the way I paint, and at this moment, I am reduced to a cliche.
Don't.
please.
Meet the soon-to-be abandoned girlfriend of the young artist who cannot deal with responsibility. There should be fiddles.
It should be a shotgun.
No. If you don't want to stay, I don't want you to. I've always taken care of myself. I can take care of two. Isn't that what I've been doing?
We have to talk.
All we ever do.
It's what you never do.
Jack,
Has nothing to do with my paintings.
it has something to do with my desire to buy them. You have legal responsibilities.
He has nothing. I have the kid. Will have.
You don't have to. That's not the worst thing. It's not the best, but it's a possibility.
I wanted to talk about the possibilities. He doesn't want to, so we'll all talk about them. Something you want to say? I didn't think so. A kid. Now that you all know, it's more real. Well, it's not a kid yet, and it needn't be, but it could be. A boy, a girl. He or she would complicate my life, but it's complicated already. I'm a painter, holding a job and living with a fellow who doesn't talk about things. A child. I like the idea. Yes, I'm going to have it. And no matter what else happens, my child and I will talk. We should have talked. There are things I never told you. I draw better than you.
Maybe in school, but
Then and now. My design is better, my color is better, I paint better. No matter what brave experiments you develop, remember, if they're worth doing, I have already done them better, if with less charm. I don't doubt you will be more successful, but I am no longer dampening my fires, so you don't get discouraged. Go.
Good.
Go. You're ruining Sai's meal.
so I'm sorry. I didn't want it like this.
But this is how it is.
Your mother stood up for you. Why? All she knows about painting is, I told her you do it on your own. She thought being a painter, you'd learn to be responsible in a way you never would if you stayed in your dad's store.
It's my life. Isn't that what you said? Grown children leave.
They do not leave everything.
Hold on. Sorry, guys.
All right. Have another brief pause here. This is what happens when we Zoom, and that's one of the things. And then we can do it anywhere, and other things happen. So, and it's such a great line. So we just have to wait a moment for that. And again, this is really it's been a while. I mean. Well, we did the other reading of this play, but I'm having a great time hearing this, and I'm sorry I didn't prepare ahead of time and have a recording of Nobody by Bert Williams to play, which I could do because it's in the public domain, because that is such a great such
I found it. I just couldn't cue it up in time.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a version. Johnny Cash did a version of it as well. That is really good. So
Sorry about that, guys.
all right, there you go.
All right.
Okay, great.
Public space.
All right, Ren.
Yeah, I understand.
They do not leave everything.
This had to happen before dessert.
Take it.
Keep it.
I do not want it. And I am not sure about this painting.
There were good times. We had fun painting that. Keep it.
You don't have to do this.
Oh, I do.
I didn't think he would. Oh, I'm dizzy. I'm seeing stars. Beautiful. Like the Annunciation paintings. Who's the angel who tells Mary she's going to have a baby?
Gabriel.
Gabriel, go back. This one's not divine.
Mm.
Oh, could I have some water?
Christine brings it to her. After a sip, she takes a deep breath and turns to Christine.
Thank you. Don't anybody leave this room. I need you. We had talked about the possibility, and he said, it doesn't matter what he said. No more vapors. Rich ladies have vapors. What about dessert?
We can wait.
What is it?
Reine de la Saba.
Cake with chocolat et amandes. Roll your R.
Jack,
He is past. We are present and here. Somewhere, I need to do some reading, is the future. Let's talk about something else.
My mind is a blank.
Do you think we can trust President Wilson?
No.
I want the cake.
Reine de la Saba.
Good.
I brought Jack here.
I was glad. I liked what we had. It wasn't enough. Tonight I told him about the baby. He didn't say a thing, except it was time to come down here. When we got here, he was in love with you, Henry.
I like his pictures.
Of course you do.
I still don't understand that.
It's not important. You need 9 months to get used to the idea.
I thought I understood, Jack. I don't understand anything.
Cause and effect. I'm clear on that.
This is dedicated to Lisa's child.
He or she thanks you.
You're not eating.
I understand nothing. Except this. It's very good.
Mm.
Mm.
The center is perfect.
That's the test.
Mhm.
Do you ever make mistakes?
They don't make it on the table.
Jack always drew pictures. Everywhere. On everything. Oh, he drove my sister crazy. I bought him paints. I got him lessons. I made him an artist the way I made Selma a striker. Why did I do that?
Der Clara.
Clara. Oh, I hate my name. I like everybody else's better. Maybe that's why I get into their lives.
You want to be Henry?
I'd love it. All right, Henrietta.
You're serious.
Oh, Lisa.
I'm all right. You can change your name.
It's too late.
Counselor?
It's not even difficult. I'll take care of it.
Pro bono.
It'll be a pleasure.
This is silly.
It is not if it is important to you.
Oh, we should talk about you.
We've said enough.
Could I be Denise?
Of course.
Denise.
What do you think?
I like Clara. I say Clara, I think you. All right, I think you when I say Denise.
Denise will let people live their own lives. But everybody will be confused. Me too. People will call Denise. I'll keep on walking.
I'm the one who needs names. Denise.
Denise. I think I'm going around the bend.
Hamel is good.
I mean,
I know what you mean.
that's a joke.
A little one.
I have trouble with jokes. Clara, all these years and I never told anybody how much I hate it.
You told me
I did?
more than once.
Clara. She's 49, has red hair, doesn't get jokes, but she has lots of energy. Oh, honey.
Do I look different?
Not yet.
It'll help when I do. There's a logic to this.
I had a chance to be a Pullman chef. Good pay, but I turned it down because I hate going back and forth over the same route. Denise. Living here, I might as well have done it.
Is that a joke?
It is a fact. Your name, the world is wrong. You're going to fix it. It doesn't get fixed over and over. And it ends like this. Coming in at 10:40 on track 21, the depression special.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You always say that.
I do. When I die,
Nobody's dying.
We all are.
I suppose. So why can't we live better?
How did we get into this? What was it? The Reine de Saba?
Oh,
It's me. We think about new life and we think about death. I'm about to become immortal.
My gravestone's going to say, she got in the way, but she took good dictation.
Time enough to talk about death when it happens.
Then you don't have to.
you have been thinking about this.
Not often. But I don't look at my liver spots a lot either.
I don't like this conversation.
You started it.
Don't listen, kid.
Selma won't let me in her house. Jack walked out. Selma won't let me in her house. Jack walked out. You all know that. I know that. Okay. May I have another piece of cake?
3 minutes depressed is as long as you can manage.
If I ever get morbid enough to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, as soon as I hit the water, I'll be swimming for shore.
Anyone else?
Please.
Lisa, you shouldn't be alone.
I won't be. Not for long.
You could move in here. Couldn't she?
There's the extra room.
Oh, thanks, but my studio has great light.
Do you have a doctor?
No,
Are you certain?
I went to a clinic.
We'll find you your own doctor.
I don't know how to talk to doctors. I am terrified.
Of course you are.
I'll miss you.
We get along. You can paint when I am there.
You're the only one. When Jack was painting, I could. If he wasn't, I couldn't.
Mostly I am rational, but sometimes I believe in fate. I have had job offers here. I will stay and move in with you.
You mean that?
Absolutely.
Where's that handkerchief?
I give it back to, what's his name?
You have your work in Paris. I'm not giving up mine. You won't either. But if it's a girl, she's Christine. It'll be odd sleeping alone. Nobody. Not a soul.
Je n'ai pas fait rien pour personne.
I wish she could hear that.
It's not the same.
Take the record with you.
It will break.
I'll wrap it.
That is not the problem.
There've been enough problems today. It's a gift, a simple gift.
There is a problem with all these wonderful gifts, except Henry's dollar, which I can wear.
You're not taking the poster?
I did not plan on taking anything. I meant it when I said,
I went through hell to get it for you.
I appreciate that, Clara, Maman. It is a generous gift, a lovely gift. I should have explained.
And you let me do something for you. Can't I do one thing right?
I do not speak English well.
You speak it just the way you want, with that adorable accent.
Clara, stop it.
This is between us.
Oh, of course.
Try to understand, please. Even if you had not had to do all that to get it for me, giving me the poster is a wonderful, generous gesture, but you don't know how I live. I have no place for it.
You don't have walls?
My days with artists and galleries are hectic. I represent the artist, my friends, to the gallery. The artists are so desperate they think I cheat them. The galleries are cheap and I am in the middle. I get sick sometimes, nauseous. I need to come home to empty walls. I wish I could live with such wonderful thing as this. It is wonderful. Perhaps, yes, I will take the poster and the record. I do not have even a phonograph. I'll get one. This is the year of change. I will change too. I will come home each day to Bert Williams and the pageant and all of you. Yeah, that will be better. You will see when you visit.
Paris?
Why not?
Oh, when I first met Mr. Henri, he was just back from Paris. Oh, he talked about it. All the artists did. Most of them got there. I never did.
You must find a way. I want my friends to meet you, all of you. It's not such a big ocean.
Well, the show paid your way.
Third class, which is not expensive, gets there just as quickly, and you do not have to dress for dinner.
The Louvre. Can I bring the kid?
If it is Christine, we will get her one of those funny fur coats little girl in Paris wear. I have room for whomever visits. Henry, see Paris again.
It would be wonderful, doubly wonderful staying with you.
Then do it.
Paris. At the best restaurants.
By the time you get there, I will have things on my walls.
I do have a lot of stuff.
You introduced me to the painters?
Of course.
I don't know how, but we're going.
Thank you for the lovely, well, mostly lovely evening.
The matas is ready.
I would love coffee. They use real hors d'oeuvres. What about the coffee?
We're getting to the part I want you to see.
I love parties.
So,
I never acted. Let me. I am tired of this stool. I was in the building visiting someone. I heard them smell the coffee. Is it real?
yes, but I didn't write that.
I am a writer. It happens at parties. People walk in. I will not stay long.
Ah, it smells wonderful. Then I'll go.
You can sleep late.
Ah,
There is a knock at the door. Chekhov enters wearing a long black coat with a beaver collar. Filled with an actor's post-performance energy, he speaks with an elegant Yiddish accent.
excuse me.
Yes.
Who are you?
It is late. You do not know me, but I smelled coffee. I have been visiting your neighbor, Shlomo Pinsk.
You're an actor?
Jakob Magritte.
Mhm.
The Yiddish Lear.
Tonight I had the pleasure of playing my final New York performance of Lear. I still have the bells. Effective piece, but not Lear.
Sugarman rises from his stool, tries to wave Chekhov back. Chekhov sees him, turns away. Sugarman sits.
It's awfully late.
I apologize, but would it be possible to have just one cup of coffee?
Of course.
Oh, you're here. You might as well.
Ah, oh, thank you. Without a shred of humility, I tell you tonight I did the Lear.
You do not need that here.
I do not need it anywhere, but it is handsome. Huh?
Aren't you hot in it?
I am used to the heat of lights. My audience expects me to wear something like that.
I'm Henry Lewis. This is Clara, the hostess.
Again, I apologize.
You're here. Forget it. You missed a wonderful dinner. We could heat something.
Oh, thank you, no. Your place is charming.
I collect things.
The arrangement, the decoration.
I don't decorate. I fill, but thank you.
The coffee is wonderful. You grind the beans freshly.
Cy Alexander.
Ah, how nice to meet you. I have been in this country only briefly and have had no opportunity to meet anyone of color.
I've been here all my life and never met a Yiddish Lear.
Christine.
Enchanté.
Lisa.
Oh, my dear, do you act?
I paint.
A kindred spirit.
Tell us about the Lear, Mr. McGee.
Jakob, please.
I like the way you say that.
Jakob. That's a possibility. That's Jack. Forget it. I'm sorry.
I want to tell you about tonight. I got ovations. I deserved ovations. I wanted to applaud. I wish you could have seen it.
Change the schedule. Do it again.
I am an actor, a leading actor, a star. I am not a producer. As for doing it again, I wonder if I can.
Now you know how.
Perhaps I felt good because she was the smallest Cordelia I ever had. I knew when I carried her, my back would not hurt. Good night, my friends. I doubt we shall meet again.
It has been a pleasure.
You didn't finish your coffee.
How many calls did you get?
The company received 6. 4 more.
We should make it 5.
Bravo. How do you say that in Yiddish?
Bravo is fine.
That lucky Cordelia.
I made him uncomfortable. That's why he left.
It is late.
A nice man.
You can't have Donatas without pastry.
I missed the pastry.
Sit down.
What do you think?
Where did you get that coat?
Forget the coat. Me.
That was nice.
Nice is like interesting. What do you think?
Don't be such an actor.
But I was. Tell me, honestly. I think I want honesty.
You were excellent.
I believed I had done that, Lear. You want to continue?
If it's all right.
Of course.
Jack is gone. You're going. Selma is trapped. The strike is lost. It's scary.
You think you're scared?
No matter what, there is something hopeful when a kid is born.
I was frightened coming here. I am frightened going home.
What do you do about it?
I do what must be done.
That says it all. No, it doesn't. No matter what I do, this kid will have no father.
That lucky kid is going to have you. Oh, God, I don't want to lose you.
That is what parents do.
Not for a while.
Tell me the pageant was worth doing.
It was wonderful.
Everything was clear. How seldom that happens.
It was a game for Mabel. Am I like that?
You aren't rich.
Another pastry.
Oh, your food solves everything.
At least you're not hungry.
Please.
It was a great pageant, and you helped make it possible. When we were singing, I felt wonderful.
The whole garden was singing.
I never thought we'd win.
Still you sang.
And felt wonderful.
How could you?
Every time I go out that door, I elicit hostility from most white folks. So I have learned to disregard what I feel and do what I have to do.
Yes. Oh, I thought we'd win the strike. I thought we were building a new society in the shell of the old. Except for the baby. Everything is wrong.
Dinner wasn't.
That's true.
I can control dinner.
That's why you're a chef.
That's it.
Your dinner made possible a wonderful evening. Well, mostly.
Forget him. I have. I'll remember the good things so I can tell my bastard. Say it out loud. It's not so bad.
It's just a legal term, like husband.
Aren't you clever? Don't you leave me.
Nothing lasts.
You do.
Lisa thinks I never changed. You think I never will.
Henry, what is wrong?
Things are always wrong and right. It's a balance.
Something is wrong. That is why you will not come to France.
It's a long trip.
If anything happens to you,
Things always happen, and you're always surprised.
Is it serious?
Henry,
Eventually. I've had a good life, satisfying work. I have friends. I even made money. Not a lot. I haven't been that kind of lawyer, but yes. Lisa, it can help the baby.
Henry. Oh my.
That would make me happy.
Think about it.
Isn't it a good idea?
wonderful.
bravo, Henry.
You mean it?
I do.
Well, we thank you. There must be a better word.
I'll work out the details.
I've always taken care of myself.
You will, but you'll have help. Don't decide now.
First I was dizzy, now I've got chills. Thank you. And thank you. I will think about it.
No thinking about this. Anyone. I'll bring champagne to the ship, and after we've waved it into the harbor, those Christine left behind will have a day off on me.
Hmm.
So far, I think it works.
But what of Clara? What changes?
It seemed right in rehearsal, but now it's not enough. She talks more. She doesn't change. Stanislavski talked about the actor's nightmare, being on stage, not knowing your lines. That's how I feel. There's an audience and
Robert, breathe. Relax. Do as you had me do. Go ahead. Stretch. Inhale. Yes, up, 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 up. Good.
I can't think.
Once more, but breathe deeper. Good. Good, good. Robert, Clara is colorful. She has energy, but I do not know her. The relationship with Sai, it's vague. I know enough of your country to know it will not be easy for them as you make it.
Well, it's too late for exposition.
Find a way.
Now?
We are waiting. How did she become this Clara who wishes she were Denise? Why did she walk out on a good job she worked so hard to achieve? She was fond of Henry, but how did she become so independent? This fascinating flat of hers. Do not let it be a backdrop. She worked to make it this. Why?
Don't say anything more. But when'll I do it? I mean, you're here, they're here.
When the lights dim, time passes.
Right.
Sugarman takes his pen and starts to write as the lights dim and then immediately come back up.
I love theater.
I'd enjoy a day off, but I have to work.
You will be at the ship?
I know their food is great, but I'll bring something special.
Lisa, Clara, Ava Tange at the palace, then dinner.
That would be wonderful.
You stopped work months ago and haven't had a day off. Tomorrow you do.
I can't.
You will be at the ship?
Of course. Everything is changing. But nothing changes here. Look at this place. It's a museum. You go to museums to escape.
It is so comfortable.
Too comfortable. I hide here.
Don't hide. Come with us.
Pretend it's all not happening. That's hiding. You'll be gone. Jack, who's been a part of my life since he was born, is gone. Selma won't see me. I'm not going to pretend these things aren't happening. You decided something wonderful about Lisa. I decided something. I'm leaving too.
You are coming to France?
No.
Where are you going?
I don't know. You're leaving. Why can't I?
I'm going home.
I can't do that.
This is your home.
It's a cave I hide in. I'm surprised I haven't covered the windows.
When are you going?
Tomorrow.
Alone?
Want me to carry your bags? Will I get a tip?
Maman, I do not think you should decide now. It is late. You are tired.
All these things. You keep the place. You've been paying rent.
Everything here is yours. I've listened. You listen.
We will take Lisa upstairs and then you can see me home. It is on your way.
Don't go.
They should.
This isn't about us.
I think it is.
I need you.
Sai,
Maybe you can get her to talk sense.
it is still my party. There is coffee if you are sleepy, cognac if you are not. I recommend cognac. It is soothing.
More coffee and I'll explode. Cognac and I'll go to sleep. No, I won't. Cognac.
Lisa,
I'm wide awake. Nothing. Thank you.
Clara,
Nothing.
drink won't do it. Food won't do it. I want to know what's going on. Why are you leaving?
I don't figure in this. If you don't like this place, we'll live someplace else.
It has been wonderful, but Sigh, it hasn't been real. Aside from these folks, who knows about us? I've hidden in this place. I've hidden with you. This place made me safe. You made me safe. Look around. Does anybody walking in know you live here? Did Jakob?
I know how important this is to you, so I didn't disrupt it. Nobody walking in knows I live here. You hid here? I did too. Don't bother leaving. I will.
Wait. I'm thinking, trying to. Look, folks, the redhead is thinking. Maybe I can stop hiding here. I never told my family about you, and I never let Jack tell them.
You said you had.
Da. Always blamed the slaves, them niggers, for the war and what happened to him, and he is wrong, but all he has is his hate.
Mustn't do anything about that.
I didn't. I've always hidden things. I hid from Mama how much I hated working with her. I guess I didn't because one day she took my hand and chanted at me in Gaelic. I mean, it seemed like a blessing. Then she told me to leave. I was determined there'd be no more hiding. That was as bad as the work. Then I met some painters who said I was pretty. Me. All I'd ever hoped for was to be clean. I became a model and stopped hiding the body I wasn't supposed to have noticed. And while they painted, I listened and learned to talk decent American. And when I heard myself, I wondered if I wasn't just hiding the ignorant Irish cleaning girl I knew I was. By the time we moved to New York, there were younger models. I'd saved enough to take secretarial classes. I was good, best in my class. I spoke well. I typed well. I took dictation well. I was a woman with skills. I went to work for a good law firm and I met you. The next time I wrote home, I thought of Da and I was hiding again.
You could have told me.
I didn't want to lose you. Then I discovered that under the wood paneling and the respectability of the library, with all of them, all those thick books, Henderson, Wilson, and Wallace, was hiding what it did. It protected landlords against tenants, mill owners against workers, and I was helping them. But it was all right because you, Henry, were there, and I helped you. When they fired you, I had to go. I read about the strike that was going to end the miseries. The miseries respectable folks hide. So I joined up, and you, I let me work for it for no money.
You lied to me.
I'm not now. Today I watched them straggle back to work and hide all the best that's in them. And Selma hid from me. I came back to find Jack going, "You're leaving." Well, I knew about that, but I want to hide again. I want to cover the windows. No, I don't want to hide. Believe me.
I'm trying.
The folks in Patterson have to hide. I don't. Help me, Cy. All of you here tonight. This is what's true. I'm telling Da about you.
You should have told me.
Now I have.
I want to stay. May I go with you tomorrow?
Of course.
Is all this because I wanted a party?
All this and all I can think is that I'm hungry. Is it because I'm pregnant?
I'm not.
What have I done to you?
Not sure. But I'm still standing.
I am such a fool.
Why should you be different?
Cy and Clara's apartment.
It is.
Well then,
He exits, returns with a cardboard box, and takes out a Union soldier's cap.
this was my father's. And I want it up. Where are you going?
To get hammer and nails.
We'll wake Mrs. Gambale.
Parties are noisy.
She exits as Cy digs through the box and brings out a photo.
My father, my brother, Sam, and my sister Emma.
You look like her.
I wish.
Clara returns. Cy takes the hammer and puts the hat on as he hammers a nail into the wall, and then puts the hat on it.
There's more.
Auntie Clara, on behalf of the baby, I am delighted you'll be here.
I will be Auntie Clara. When I get in the way, stop me. And if I keep trying, maybe Selma will let me in. I will write, Christine. I am your mother. I think the families you choose are better, and this one's having a baby.
Eat here more. We want to keep an eye on you.
Clara, stand here. Cy too. Do it for the pregnant lady. Hold hands. Look at each other. Now look at me. I'm going to do a portrait of you, and it won't look like anybody else's work. My first painting.
It'll be for sale.
It will. You'll be wearing that.
Pose with my clothes on. Oh, we'll be fine. I believe that. But what about Selma?
She goes to the poster, wraps it, slipping the phonograph record inside, hands it to Christine.
No more empty walls. I have a lullaby for you. Tomorrow I
Now,
fais dodo, colle à mon petit frère. Fais dodo, colle à mon petit frère. Good night, my friends.
Good night.
Fais dodo, t'auras du lolo.
This place is looking good.
Damn good.
Fade out on stage.
Yes.
Yes. What? Well, that's not how you would have done it.
It is yours.
But what do you think?
I am here because you put me here. I am happy you did, but how can I answer? You must tell me what to say. A good effort.
Thank you.
My acting, well, I enjoyed that.
Well, good night.
Good night.
Blackout. And thank you all so much. Thank you all for stepping in, Ren. I know I said you needed to go at 3:30, and we made it just in time.
Way
So
to go,
thank you.
Ren. Great job.
Great job, everyone.
Nice
Thank
to meet you guys. Yeah.
you.
And you too.
Great
Take care.
seeing
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
All
Thank
right.
you. And
Take it easy, Paul.
yes, you too, Ren. Thanks so
Okay, guys.
much. This is
Bye.
great. And thank you, John and Elena and Andrew and Angus and Christine and Marie Christine, sorry. Marie. and Marin, thank you. This was great. And it really, I hadn't really, I don't think I realized how different this is from the other version of it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it really is. I mean, not only actually Henry isn't, as I recall now, Henry isn't in the updated version of it. But thank you all so much. This was really great.
Yeah.
I think this is even somewhat rewritten after that production that he had done, that was done there, because I recall what happened one time was that in because there was a change where the division of the acts happened, where in the earlier version that Jack left in the first act. And at the theater where they did this, the guy who was playing Jack was Greg Loren, the son of Ralph Lauren, Ralph Lipschitz, who became Loren, and became ultimate sort of thing. And so Greg was in it. And so Ralph Lauren was there, and like the family came to see it. But after he was just in Act 1, and after his character was done, they didn't stick around for Act 2.
Oh.
But that's that. And then there's other sorts of
You gotta
things.
have more Jack. You always have to have more Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. At least have some time till after the interval. But it's interesting, and I think it's just such a, when you think back, 1913, what a different world it was, It was just before shit really started to go wrong, and already things weren't going right. These strikes were not successful, and especially with American history. Well, all history is written by the winners, and American history is written by, the people who have money.
Well, Russia had itself a proletariat revolution around then, and America tried and very much did not.
Yeah. Well, and it would be, I don't know. Well,
Yeah, you were talking, Angus, about other plays. I think isn't Iceman Cometh also set around this time? And there's the Anarchist Guild and things like that going on. There's a little.
Yeah, they could well be.
Yeah.
No, but what happened? A lot of Russian emigres escaping the Russian Revolution came over, hung about on the East Coast, and started doing revolutionary theater workshops. And I think in the mid-20s, the term agitprop was coined for them.
yeah.
For what they were doing.
And some of those things that they'd done were then sort of picked up by like Orson Welles, and in the Federal Theater Project, which is another great piece of theater history that we don't know about, when, during the Depression, when it was like, okay, we need to do all these things to get people back to work and put money into all of these things to do it, that they actually did it for theater. The Federal Theater Project, and it was really great. And it was, they brought in so many more diverse people, and did so much. Part of the Works Progress Administration, in terms of other art things, they did all sorts of wonderful, I mean, decorations and things. But then for theater, it's like that was very brief because, you know, when it got to things and they were like, oh, Orson Welles, one of the famous productions he'd done was of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. And so when they were asking, so is this Christopher Marlowe a communist? You know, and it's like, thank you, Congress. You know, so then Congress, that was one of the first things that the Congress was sort of not giving money to the arts. And I think we do need to give money to the arts because that is the green way forward, to value people doing art for other people. It's the greenest way forward.
That sounds like a precursor to the HUAC, to the House Un-American.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's always been this great paranoia about the violence on the left when there's been actually so little of it compared with, you know, the all of the people who are buying and stockpiling all these guns, which when one goes off their rocker and just kills lots of people. But yeah.
I was in the production of Julius Caesar in 2017 at the Delacorte that was protested because of that horrible Breitbart headline. Donald stabbed to death in Central Park, in Shakespeare in the Parks production of Julius Caesar. And the first person to go on stage and interrupt a production of Shakespeare during the murder sequence, so there was, you know, dull but real daggers on stage, and he was lifted over a podium, all in very intricate choreography by the Sordelets. And she ran up screaming, "Stop normalizing violence against right-wing politicians."
God save us.
Yeah, and I mean, when Oscar Eustace sort of trying to explain to people about this production, the whole point is that no, we can't kill him because that is the whole point of it. It's like we've got to preserve the republic, so we've got to kill this guy as the danger to it, and that's what destroyed the republic, guys. So
for 1,500 years, no democracy in the world for 1,500 years because of that moment, and Shakespeare was showing it, and they still stood in this little boxed off area outside the Delacorte and had signs against Shakespeare and this production. And I heard someone say, "Have you read the play?" And the gentleman behind with a big American flag and everything said, "I can read."
Which in itself is a surprise.
I don't know.
I was interviewed by Inside Edition on John's opening night for Julius Caesar, and they were like, "How do you feel about them framing it to kill Trump?" And I said, well, it's actually kind of about, you know, how bad things happen when we kill our leaders. And it's pretty common to frame it in you know, the current political climate. When the Guthrie did it, they used Obama, and they were like, that wasn't the answer we wanted. And like turned away from me. And I was like, that's probably not going to air on TV, but.
But speaking of Orson Welles, he did the Hitler in 39 of Julius Caesar.
Yeah, which I mean, I actually think that may have been part of the Works Progress Administration things when he was doing, because he did a lot of really great things there, or just after that. But yeah, and it was one of the first really important productions of sort of, oh, you can shed light on it by setting it in a more sort of modern context, which was
But only if you've got people with functioning brains.
Yeah.
No, Angus, we're in America.
Oh, well, that's true.
Sorry.
I sat in Georgia and I was lamenting the astonishing stupidity of a lot of the people that I ran into.
Oh,
and one guy said, "Oh no, I'm in a smaller town than this, and I used to deliver the newspapers, and I delivered one copy of the New York Times in a whole town of 30,000 people. The rest of them all got these local rags, you know, with selective republishing of AP scurrilous stuff." That probably explains it.
It's even
most
worse.
of that is owned by Rupert Murdoch. He bought up most of the local
That's right.
magazines or newspapers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're still recording in live streaming. Maybe we should just if there's any other commentary people would like to make on the play or anything. I thank you all for doing this. It was really great to hear it and be part of it. Andrew, I apologize. I should have said, well, I'll read the stage directions when you're on, but
no, that's fine. Yeah, I was just going to say I really love the inclusion of the two playwrights, and you said, as they removed it, I in particular I loved just the concept of Chekhov helping Sugarman figure out how to correct the sort of plot hole, and then it just kind of all coming together so well. And there were those questions sort of in your mind as you were listening. So I can't imagine it without that interruption. I think it really would. What was nice about it was it really drew us to Clara's final speech in such a beautiful way that I don't know if it would have come off as well without that sort of intervention in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's also nice because it's not that it breaks the rules. Your dad never really set up any theatrical rules on this. Nothing is really, he's not following any theatrical conventions. The whole thing is interactive and with the audience as well. So it busts up everything. And suddenly you really get to the heart of the fact that the audience is not a separate entity. It's another player in any show that you do. It's your extra scene mate, which makes a big difference.
Absolutely. I think that's so true. The importance of this sort of actor audience thing, and that is what makes theater great, and why while there are many other things, many other media, we can do things online, on film and stuff, but there's something so special about being together.
I would say it's more that's what makes theater addictive. Why acting is addictive. I haven't been on stage for, well, basically since I came over here, and it's like part of me has been cut off and stuffed in a back closet for 4 years, and it's beginning to stink a little bit,
Glad you come out of your closet for us, Angus.
I have, of course. This IS has been keeping me sane since I came over here.
Great. Well, thank you. Sorry.
Nice to see everybody.
Good to see you. Thank you, Marie.
Yeah.
John, we have never met, but I love your name, John L. Peacock, and I think it suits you so well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Wonderful working with you as well. Yeah, I think I've not met you before. So, Paul, one thing about the bringing the playwrights in that your dad did, like Angus said, not breaking any rules because it's his world and he gets to set the rules, and it's just not the rules that many other plays have ever done before. It gives so much of the parallel to the one I'm focusing on, and maybe it's just because I don't know his full body of works, but is Cherry Orchard, of the leaving and everybody coming to an end, and this impending sense of doom with the chopping in the background and the workers about almost on their doorstep as they're heading out and going on this great journey. But he never says that play once. And he focuses more on Chekhov wanting some pastries and coffee than on a work that is such a parallel to what Bob was writing. I love it. It's like I wrote a play where the main character is John L. Peacock because I'm that arrogant. Like Traeger in it too. So there's so many levels and so many layers. I'm really digging on this. Yeah, thanks for bringing us in and having it read again with the old the two versions. I would hope that he didn't really think of this was like an abandoned version, but is a different one than the ones that were produced.
Yeah, no, and I do. I mean, we did a Zoom recording of the earlier version, I think like 3 years ago, so we can check it out. I hope at some point I will, to sort of see I mean, but it is, they are very different sort of entities, and it's great to get a chance to hear it and to get to get to pretend to be him. So
The other parallel I just want to mention is it reminded me a little bit of Dante and Virgil, because Dante adored Virgil so much that he had the two of them get to meet each other across the years
Yeah.
in Inferno. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of that too.
oh, cool.